Hello and welcome back to Geek Girl TV. This is episode number 25, and as usual, I'm your Geek Girl host, Eve Park, the girl who is queen for a day. YouTube user 234EF3, who may or may not be named for the hexadecimal code for this particular shade of blue, asks if I have ever heard of FSM. Indeed I have. And if you've never heard of him, I'd like to introduce you. But I'm no expert, so I'd like to refer to the well-articulated open letter to the Kansas School Board at venganza.org. I am writing you with much concern after having read of your hearing to decide whether the alternative theory of intelligent design should be taught along with the theory of evolution. I think we can all agree that it is important for students to hear multiple viewpoints so that they can choose for themselves the theory that makes the most sense to them. I am concerned, however, that students will hear only one theory of intelligent design. Let us remember that there are multiple theories of intelligent design. I and many others around the world are of the strong belief that the universe was created by a flying spaghetti monster. It was he who created all that we see and all that we feel. Some find it hard to believe, so it may be helpful to tell you a little more about our beliefs. We have evidence that a flying spaghetti monster created the universe. None of us, of course, were around to see it, but we have written accounts of it. We have several lengthy volumes explaining all details of his power. Also, you may be surprised to hear that there are over 10 million of us and growing. We tend to be secretive, as many people claim our beliefs are not substantiated by observable evidence. What these people don't understand is that he built the world to make us think the Earth is older than it really is. For example, a scientist may perform a carbon dating process on an artifact. He finds that approximately 75% of the carbon-14 has decayed by electron emission to nitrogen-14 and infers that his artifact is approximately 10,000 years old, as the half-life of carbon-14 appears to be 5,730 years. But what our scientist does not realize is that every time he makes a measurement, the flying spaghetti monster is there changing the results with his noodly appendage. We have numerous texts that describe in detail how this can be possible and the reasons why he does this. He is of course invisible and can pass through normal matter with ease. I'm sure you now realize how important it is that your students are taught this alternate theory. It is absolutely imperative that they realize that observable evidence is at the discretion of the flying spaghetti monster. Furthermore, it is disrespectful to teach our beliefs without wearing his chosen outfit, which of course is full pirate regalia. I cannot stress the importance of this enough, and unfortunately cannot describe in detail why this must be done, as I fear this letter is already becoming too long. The concise explanation is that he becomes angry if we don't. You may be interested to know that global warming, earthquakes, hurricanes, and other natural disasters are a direct effect of the shrinking number of pirates since the 1800s. For your interest, I have included a graph of the approximate number of pirates versus the average global temperature over the last 200 years. As you can see, there is a statistically significant inverse relationship between pirates and global temperature. P.S. I have included an artistic drawing of him creating a mountain, trees, and a midget. Remember, we are all his creatures. While I myself am not a Pastafarian, I respect their teachings. In addition, I really enjoy dressing like a pirate. But perhaps there's a viewer out there who will go on to become a loyal follower of the flying spaghetti monster. If that sounds like you, go to venganza.org.
And now for something completely different.
YouTube user Logo writes, "You're hot but change your hair, it sucks." World of Warcraft. For this week's World of Warcraft segment, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, YouTube user Dark Mole. Visit his page and you'll find he has a collection of Machinima, most of which are made by him and most of which are World of Warcraft. Although Skater Boy in Sims 2 is pretty cute too. Next up, YouTube user I Am Unhappy asks me if I'm watching the last season of SG-1 and the new season of Stargate Atlantis. Absolutely! Stargate has long been a staple in my sci-fi viewing, and although I'm saddened by the loss of SG-1, I'm also grateful for the actors' commitment to the show for so many years. I understand that after a decade, the actors might have other things they'd like to do with their lives, but at least we have Stargate Atlantis to continue the franchise. In addition, it gives a forum for the old characters to give cameos on every once in a while. That's it for this week. This is Geek Girl signing off. Ramen. Big Red 001 writes, "Finally, though I'm not much into superheroes in comics, I was born and came up with a useful superpower, whether for good or evil. The power is the ability to stop time, or more accurately, enter a bubble where everything stops. You can remain in this as long or as little as you need. Having the ability to disappear to the rest and recover can be quite an advantage in a dangerous fight. Not to mention, as a hero, you can remain vigilant, as you would not need to have to use regular time to sleep. As a hero, having the ability to stop time means when the villain hatches some plot, you have as much time as you need to try to figure out how to stop them. As a villain, you have the ability to develop and orchestrate numerous plans with a deadly precision without giving the hero the time to react to each and every plot." Dennis writes, "As for the supervillain, who says I'm not already a supervillain? My name? Well, it's Dennis. The world will come to fear my name and will quake from fear when they hear that the mighty Dennis is approaching. Hide the women and children! Superpower? Obviously I don't need one. My megalomania will be sufficient." Majestia 19. "I would be able to control all candy, sugar, chocolate, cookies, and other sweets like Magneto controls metal. I would eat whatever I wanted and just keep the rest for myself and never let anyone else have it. And I'd be able to fly. My name would be Sugaress." FX Robot writes, "For the if I was a supervillain question, I would be Time Warp, and my power would be warping the space-time continuum to travel into the past and to steal great inventions and take credit for them, thus building my own evil empire from the profits."